Troubleshooting on the Fortessa. There are two main types of problems that you can have, and those are clogs and air in the system. And these are manifest by no events when running, erratic event rate, which goes from low to high to zero, or in the case of air in the system, a high event rate with a lot of events around the edges of the plot. Problem number one, you have no events when running. The first thing you should do is check the run light. Check the run light. If it is yellow instead of green, then that means your tube is not pressurized. In that case, remove your tube from the sit and inspect it to see if it is cracked, as this one is indeed cracked. So it is cracked, your tube is not pressurizing, and that is the reason you're getting no events when running. So to address this issue, transfer your sample to a new tube, and that should fix the issue. So if we put it in run with a new tube, now the run button is green, and that fixes the problem. The next problem you can have is a clog or partial clog in the flow cell. So you have no events or erratic events, and your tube is not cracked. The next thing you should try is to prime the instrument. So remove your sample, leave the arm to the side, hit the prime button. The prime process pushes all the sheath fluid out of the flow cell and refills it, which can dislodge and remove clogs or partial clogs out of the flow cell. So when the prime is finished, it will light up the standby button. So you want to repeat this process up to 5 times or more, and that should remove a clog from the flow cell. The next problem we're going to address is a clog in the sit. And to dislodge a clog in the sit, what you need to do is clean it with a cleaning stylus. So we're going to make sure the instrument's in standby. Remove your sample. Unscrew the DCM sleeve by turning clockwise. Carefully remove it, making sure not to bend the sit. We're going to retrieve a cleaning stylus, which is stored in the pencil cup by the instrument cleaning stylus. The cleaning stylus is a very fine wire. Very, very fine wire. And we'll place the cleaning stylus in the sit, and push it up until just a little bit of the wire is left out. Then move it up and down, and this should remove any clogs that are in the sit. this works almost every time. So if you have a problem that's not solved with anything else, this should do the trick. Then remove the wire, replace the DCM sleeve, turning counterclockwise till it's finger tight. Then rerun your sample to see if the issue is resolved. The cleaning stylus we're going to spray with ethanol and replace in the container to use again. The next problem we're going to address is air in the lines. There are two main reasons this can occur. One is if the sheath box is empty or low, or the plenum tank, the fluidics cart has been left off and the plenum tank is empty. So check the sheath tank to make sure it's at a sufficient level. If the tank needs to be replaced, simply grab a new box, and place the probe in the new box. The alarm will go off. Press the alarm and restart. The next thing we're going to check is the fluidics cart. If your sheath tank is full, then we're going to look at the fluidics cart. If there are any red lights, then that means the pump is not turned on. Check your plenum tank. If the plenum tank is empty, you will need to refill it. To refill it, we're going to turn the fluidics cart off, remove these two lids, and pour in 1 liter of sheath fluid. Replace the lids. And turn the fluidics cart back on. So I want to emphasize that even if this button is on, what happens sometimes is if you silence the alarm and forget to hit restart, then the pump to the fluidics cart is not running. So if you have to change sheath tanks, if you silence the alarm, always hit the restart button. The red light will go away. Any red lights on this panel here mean that the pump is not working. So once we have replenished our fluid levels in both the sheath box and the plenum tank, the next thing is to get the air out of the lines. The first thing you want to do is bleed the sheath filter to remove all the air. You're going to do this by releasing the roller valve. And if there's any air in the filter, you just leave the roller valve open until there's no more air coming out. Then close the roller valve. There's another roller valve on the side of the instrument. If you can see it. We're also going to bleed this roller valve by opening it up and running it until there's no more air coming out, just fluid. And close the roller valve. Now we've cleared the air lines from the sheath box to this point. Now we need to clear the lines of air from this point through the flow cell. We do that by priming the instrument, remove any tubes that are on to sit, leave the arm to the side, and hit the prime button. We're going to do that 5 times. Once you've bled the filters and primed the instrument 5 times, put a tube of water on and run it on high for 5 minutes. Then rerun your sample to see if the issue is addressed. To prevent any problems from coming up before you run your samples, these are things you can do. Filter your samples. And if you visually see clumps, filter them again. Inspect your tubes for cracks, and always check the fluidics cart to make sure there are no red lights, and check the fluid level in the sheath box. That should prevent most of your problems.